Oh, so great to be here with you again. Please share with me what topics are near and dear to you, important to you, what you want to learn about or hear or share, whatever that might be. Anyone? Stop that. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What is it?
Aging gracefully.
What are you saying? Hold on one sec. Okay. Jesus. One more. Okay, or three. Okay, hold it. Resonance, what else? Okay.
Staying centered in the truth and knowing of communion with God despite dishonest.
Okay. Someone else? No, I got that. There was somebody else.
Choosing reality rather than illusion.
Okay. Beautiful. There's like 800 things, I think. So much. So much. And it's Mother's Day. So how do we weave all that together? Well, let's start with that. The most glorious, greatest, most powerful being in all the universe is the Divine Mother, also known as the Holy Spirit, but it's the Divine Mother. Second to that would be the Universal Mother in terms of power, strength, the Universal Mother. They're all the same to a degree. The Universal Mother. Then there would be the Mother Earth. Then there would be a human mother, and the mother in all of us. So it starts with the mother aspect of God, Divine Mother, and then down and down and down, and it becomes the mother in us. And we're all that mother, that nurturer. That we have that in us, male and female, we have that nurturer in us. But everybody should, all churches and philosophies and whatever else, spiritual groups, they should have regularly, not just regularly have meditation or prayer, certain things that everybody, shares in spiritual groups. One thing that should happen regularly is people checking into saying, how much of the mother am I being today? How did I do today? It shouldn't be, how much did I make? Am I meeting my goals in achieving greater things and my vision boards? Did I meet my soulmate? And all the cool stuff of humans. Think about it more like, and how did I do today? Was I the presence of the mother? And the greatest demonstration of love in the universe is the love of the Divine Mother. And then take it down the scale, all the way to, then there's the human mother, which is beautiful. But don't think it compares to the Divine Mother. It doesn't, and it's not a comparative, it's not a put down. It's that the more material we become, the denser we become, the less absolute and complete we are. So a human mother is not seeing herself like this. She's seeing herself like this. So there's only so much she can contain. God bless any human mother and or mother aspect in men or women that is as full as that person can be in this moment. Not selfish, not self-centered, not caught up in their own issues and addictions. Anybody that's setting aside all their stuff, or as Jesus puts it, those who can love, right? Those who can love, that's the greatest thing. Do as I have done. Love one another as I have loved you. That concept. And it just brings us to a whole different level, a whole different place. To just like, how can I be the presence of the Holy Spirit? That's not just a thing that's like a spiritual download that the Holy Spirit fills you. And it comes down to the day-to-day life too. How much am I being a nurturer, a support system? Am I metaphorically giving life and milk to the children of God that are thirsty or hungry? Am I being that presence? It's just something, to consider. Now, in a sense, you could say, the concept is to go from superstitiously praying. I mean, there are people that don't believe in the mother at all, God at all, Holy Spirit. There's that. Then there are people who do believe, but they kind of pray to God almost superstitiously. Then there's a point where you evolve to, I'm integrating this. I'm becoming, and that's what Jesus did. He became the God he once worshiped. So you can not worship, you can worship, which is certainly better. But at some point we become. And that's an interesting thing. Now, there's an opposite to that. We come into this universe. When we came in, we seemingly separated from the divine. And I say seemingly for a reason, because you can't ultimately separate from all that is. But we think we did. And yes, it seems tragic and sad. And that's why we have problems and duality here and hate and all the things that we got going on. But we literally, you're in heaven. Now, even science and in sacred geometry, it is said that if ever anything was created by anything, by God or whatever, a creation can't actually separate and place something somewhere else. It's said in science, quantum physics, and even in sacred geometry, if there's an entity that creates something, it can't actually just take a piece, toss it somewhere else, and call it its children or its creation. Any real creation has to be an extension of the thing that's creating it. Not a thing tossed out, but an extension. If there's some form of tossing something out, which is impossible, creatively speaking, it would be called something else. It's called projecting. Projecting means you're make-believing. See? So once upon a time, we're in God. God didn't say, let there be light, and tossed us somewhere. What God said was, let there be light, and it extended itself. So God became more of God when it created us, because we're in God as part of God's creation. So it's beautiful. And it's consciousness. So in God's consciousness, we were created and we added to God's consciousness. Perfect. We at some point said, I wonder what, here it goes, I wonder. Not I'm extending myself. How do you extend anything but love? Because that's what love is. It's always an extension. Parents should understand. I think we should have a child. Why? Because, I'm bored. Wrong reason. Let's get drunk and we accidentally have it. No. Or my mom thinks we should. No. The only time you should get coupled with a person, married, let's say, is when the love is so present that it's the natural next step. I can't imagine it being it. Nope. Why wouldn't we get married or connected? Because the love is so present. It's just so there. Let's solidify it, let's call it. Then to have a child, there's so much love between us, it seems like a natural extension to include someone else in this joy. I know how idealistic that is. But that's ultimately how it would be, and that's kind of what God did. I feel so much love, let's share it. And now God's children were created, and we're in God. God's children, on the other hand, said, I wonder what it would be like if we were elsewhere. How can you be elsewhere if everywhere you go is God? You would have to dream it up. That's why this is called a dream. That's why Aboriginal peoples throughout the planet call this the dream world. Or as one great soul said, we are the dreamers of the dream. That was Willy Wonka. Who knows where the quotes are going to come from, But anyway, we are the dreamers of the dream. So we're dreaming the world into being is another phrase that's used. So, but by dreaming, we're going to say projecting. When you try to make believe or even imagine that something isn't, but you're imagining that it is, potentially it's projecting. So the children of God literally had to project themselves out of heaven. You had to make believe you're going somewhere. And God's going, where are you going? We don't know. because, we just imagined anything that isn't God. There is no place. So in its infinite patience, the father and mother are talking. How's it going, honey? Oh, fine. How was work? Oh, good. Okay. Do you want something in your lunch pail for tomorrow different? Oh, yeah. The thermos, was your milk, coffee warm? Yes. Great. They're talking. This is make-believe. Don't think this is literal. But anyway, so where are the children? I don't know. 1 minute they were smiling and in this glorious state of bliss, and the next minute I was like doing this in front of their face, and the lights are on, but nobody's home. Oh, they must have imagined that which cannot be. They imagined that they left heaven. What are we going to do? Where'd they go? Well, we know that in this moment, right now is when it's happening. They're going, but there's nowhere to go. The mother, in her infinite patience, said, I will become the place they go. And she blew out and became this thing called the universe. The Big Bang took place, and she flew in and became the universal womb, the universal mother, which is kind of funny because it doesn't exist. But she's going, I'm going to go ahead and pretend that I agree with you so that I can be the womb to mirror how you're doing. How are you doing in the universe today? Oh, it's cold. It's lonely. Yeah, exactly. So that she could say, would you like something different? Most human beings go, no, I don't think so. I want more of the same every day. And she just goes, and so it is. You want another bad marriage? I got so many lined up potential for you. Here, all she can do is, and so it is. When we say, that's it. I have reached bottom in my addiction. I have reached pain tolerance in my psychology. This has to change. She says, and so it is. Yeah, it's so simple. So if we're not growing fast enough, and I mean prosperity, karma, all these things that we want to heal and change, if it's not happening, it's all she can do is match us. She didn't miss a piece. She's just matching us. So we just speed it up a bit, work on it a bit. But don't get down on yourself when it isn't happening completely or thoroughly. The ego has no intention of giving this up easily. It's going to fight back with everything it has. It will look back in contracts from lifetimes you don't even remember. Like the most wicked, twisted lawyer. It comes in and says, I have so many cases. I've got petitions about you. 800,000 lifetimes ago in Lemuria, you did this and this and that. That's just terrible. Yes, I agree. So you need to keep paying for this. Guilt, shame, pain, this is all the ego, not God. So we have to become this thing that we once worshiped. We have to integrate. So ironically, we project ourselves out of heaven into the universe, into galaxies, into solar systems, into the earth plane. And then what? And then into your life. And now you're sitting there going, at this assembly line job, putting a filament in a light bulb. Filament, over and over. Or the same monotonous kind of job in relationship. Hi, home from work, or the kids, and it's just the same old. And people think that this is like what's supposed to be happening. Like getting by is all you can hope for. And it's not at all. This is called doing our time. This is called doing time in prison earth. And it's not reflecting what the mother or what God wants for us, nor what our true selves want. But we allow this to happen, and we projected ourselves from heaven into the universe, down, into your house. That, your house, it's got a broken window, and it's got high mortgage, and this is where we ended up. But this is not God that said, honey, I do love you, but I've just got to see what it'll be like for somebody to live in a drafty old house that's high mortgage and no comforts. Bye, boom, and plants you there. That's not how this works. Every crack in the window, every blade of weeds that are growing up. I almost said weed, but somebody who'd been like, yeah. So every blade of weeds growing in your garden or your lawn and all the things you try to make better. There's a weed. I'm planting new life, and there's a weed. I'm trying to be sober, and there's a weed. All this stuff is in my way, but not one of them can be there that isn't still congruent with some subtle belief that we're less than God created us to be. Every weed, every critter that tries to get you, whether it's a mosquito or a bear, whatever it happens to be, it's like, no. I own that this is a reflection of myself. What we do is actually, first, some of us just cope with it and go, this is life. Then we get spiritual and we change and we say, no, I used to be that way where I just was a victim of the world. Now I've changed. Now I pray and tell God to fix it for me. That's religion. When you get spiritual, you start to go, oh, dang. I'm going to have to look at this. This is the 15th weed I've married. And I probably have to look at this. That's why Jesus says in the Gospel of Thomas, seek and you shall find, and when you find, you will become disturbed. And then if you endure, you will find peace. That you will become disturbed, which isn't the way it's quoted in the Bible, but that's what he said, and it's in the last Gospel of Thomas. But why does it say you'll become disturbed? Because when you get on the path, you don't go, you know what? I was just totally an addict. And then I went to a 12-step program, and it's blissful. I don't have any cravings, anything anymore. All my friendships, everything turned around. No, those people at that program actually ask me to look at myself. They want me to look at what parts I've played and where I've had character flaws. This isn't fun. And then some of them will even say, going to those programs make me want to drink. Which I think is a funny line. I do. No, I can't go to those groups. Why not? They make me want to drink. I think it's funny. It's kind of witty, but look at the meaning of it. What it means is they make me want to drink because I don't want to look at. Why do you think I drank in the first place? Because I didn't want to see this. I need something to distract me. Then some of us are like, fortunately, I'm not one of those weak people, heroin and drinking. But you're on your 27th partnership in 3 years. Your addiction is different. We've got coping mechanisms. Yours is this and that's. They don't compare them. We're hurting, man. We're human beings who have seemingly lost love and God. And it's painful to lose God and love. If a child is, loved by its parents and loses those parents, it's sad, an orphan or whatever circumstance. It's sad. Well, imagine how much more sad it would be to lose God. And that's what we've done to ourselves. And we projected ourselves out of heaven into this bizarre little life that we have now. And it's almost funny, but it's also very sad and very painful to be in that experience. To get out of it, it's kind of the same. If we project it in, we project back out. But no, because projection technically comes from imagining something that isn't as though it is. Projecting is make-believing. So you don't make believe you're back in God. You have to learn to know that you are back and that you never left. So projecting is this process that, takes us away from God. But then we were one. Do you understand? We also projected away from each other. So we were once one, and now you're there and I'm over here. You have different skin color, you have different gender, you have a different height, and so on. We're all different. No, we're not. In God, we're not. But this is the scene of projection that subdivides like quantum physics, certain quantum concepts. And all of a sudden, we're separating, and sub-separate. And all of a sudden, we're many people, many races, many lifetimes. The day will come when we go home, we're going to go, what the heck was that? I just had the weirdest dream. What did you dream? I was on Earth. Where's Earth? I don't know. And it's in the universe somewhere. It's the universe, this really cold, dark place. You can't live unless you're on Earth where there's oxygen. And then even then, I usually have to have, an oxygen mask. Why? Because I'm not healthy. What does that mean? What is that? In heaven, none of this makes any sense. But even though I'm walking around with my oxygen tank because I can't breathe well because my body is failing, what's a body? It's this thing you sort of think that you're in, and you zip up when you get born, and then you walk around with this limited belief system that you're a body and it ages. Why would you create a body that ages? I was out of my mind. What was I thinking? And it's the weirdest thing. And the body will eventually die one way or another. It's going to die. An accident or it gets sick. What's sick? This whole thing is sick. But actually, I don't know how to explain this any other way. It's not a dream. It's a nightmare. This whole thing is bizarre. That we would imagine that we're something that we're not. But you have to do that. And that's where projection comes from. So I even project from heaven, down, 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 down. Now I'm here and I project you away from me. You know what you are? You're parts of me. You're the addict that refuses to get help. You're the addict that did get help. You're the person that has a partnership and you're the one that doesn't. You're the one that feels alone. You're the one that feels connected. You're the mystic and you're the nut. All of you are me. You're all parts of me played out. So when I wake up, I shouldn't just go, how am I doing today? Let me look in the mirror. Oh, not so well, man. I'm aging. And then, much better now. Is that how you evaluate? No, you know, all you have to do is open your eyes and look. How am I doing today? Oh, people annoy me. That's me. People, I love people. I love to hang out with people. Are so beautiful. That's me. Today I met 3 artists. I love the way they love their art. That's me. I met 3 people that hate their jobs. That's me. And they're all showing me different parts of myself. What parts they're showing me are generally parts that I push away because I don't want to own them. The addict is me that I don't want to be. And so you're going to be it for me. But so is the mystic. Well, why would I not want to be the mystic? Because you don't think you deserve. If you sit in an audience and go, I really like the way this guy talks. I love the way this musician played. We're projections of you. Do you own it within yourself? That's why when we're done and I say, what did you learn today? If somebody says, well, I love that Michael said, leave the Michael said, say the rest. When we do this, then this is what happens. I make you own it as your statement, right? You've heard me do that many times. Don't say Michael said, just say the sentence that's true. Because you're subtly saying Michael said, which is a subtle way of saying, I don't know yet, but he said it. I want you to own it like you believe it. And if you don't believe it, then go ahead and say Michael said. Now there's this guy, I don't know who he is, Michael something or other, and he might be a little nuts because he says that this is an illusion. And what you're doing is your subconscious is checking the room. He said it's an illusion. Is it true? And he's waiting. That person's waiting for confirmation one way or the other. And when the other person says, no way, I knew it. And now you and that person get to align in your illusions. You see? Owning this stuff takes courage. Owning that we never left God. That's a hard one to own. It seems like it'd be an easy one, but it's a hard one to own. This is where, you asked about things like ancestral work, aging, all these different topics you guys brought up, reconnecting and so on, recalibrating. All of this comes from, it doesn't come from not owning who you are. You have to own who you think you are to become who you really are. You see? You can't just become who you really are. You have to own all the erroneous beliefs along the way. What are you? Tell me who you are. Single mom? No, that's not true. I'm male or female? Not true. I'm gay or straight? Not true. And none of it's true. It's okay to play the game because you got to put something on the application. You can't just go, I am that I am. Try that going through, TSA. They could righteously say, well, then you don't need a plane, do you? So we go from doing, and I'm moving up the chakras. We go from doing to feeling to thinking to believing. Okay? I do, I feel, I think, I believe, I am. And you don't go from doing to I am. It just doesn't work that way. Then how do I get home? Thousands of lifetimes of working on yourself. That's the old school thing that Buddha said, no, that actually it works, but it takes too long. He says, I believe a person can, in one lifetime, turn it around. How? Because you got to wake up. Waking up means Seek and you'll find and become disturbed, work through the disturbance, and you will find the peace and love of God. Because on the other side of all the wicked, bizarre things you've done to yourself and to others, and the things they've done to you, on the other side of that is your wholeness, your bliss, your oneness with God. But you got to be willing to look at that stuff that isn't God before you can get to the God piece. And that's where we say, oh, I get. And that's why, Buddha has that sense of almost I'm awake. Now, the tricky part is it's not like you totally become awake. It's a process. So projecting ourselves here is one thing. We can't project home. There's a process of getting home. When you project, remember, it's coming from make-believe. It's coming from brokenness. It's coming from anger. Oh man, I try to be a patient person, but you people really push my buttons. I'm projecting my impatience onto you. See, impatience is connected with projection. Patience is connected with knowing. And this gets interesting. The reason I can be patient is because I know, not hope, I know that all is in God's hands. I know who you really are. And I know that I can connect with who you really are and find that peace, that spark of light, fan it into a flame, and you'll become a better and healthier and nicer person. Not, my life would be better if you were nicer. That's projection. This other one is different. It's called extending. Remember, God didn't project itself and become us in the universe. God extended itself and became us in heaven. So if we're going to turn it around, there's a process. The process is kind of what I just said about I go from doing to I am. I do to I am. But it takes this key word, which is integration. A couple of you brought up things related to that. How to deal with the illusions, and know reality despite the illusions. Or staying centered despite challenges and conflicts. There's not a technique. There are things that can help. EFT can tap, and you're tapping on your certain points in the body, and it helps decompress your nervous system. It helps. Some people, it's certain foods help ground them. Other people, meditation, whatever flips your switch, great. But the real process is acknowledging that something's not working in your life, whether it's addiction or challenge or lack of finance. Acknowledge something's not working. And then you go through the experience, you integrate what you can learn from it. And when you integrate what you learn from it, and that includes the gifts from it, I'm not saying make gifts out of challenges. I'm saying what did you learn or experience or gain from the challenges? Don't bless challenges. Don't make challenges into positives like people tell you. I know you were horribly abused, and what you need to do is say, and I'm okay with that. I was really happy, and I just didn't realize it when I was being abused. That's just an inappropriate use of denial. And those people are only telling you that because they know nothing else. So I guess, in that sense, they're trying something. That's not how you do it. A horrible experience, you don't say the Holocaust, in Second World War was really wonderful. The folks just didn't realize all the gifts they could get from that. No, that's insensitive, it's rude, and it also shows complete ignorance on your part. What you do say is, despite the way certain people behaved, what can I learn from that? There's people that came out of that said, I learned love. I learned not to let other people have power over me in here. Even when they seem to control me out here, like Viktor Frankl, they can't control me in here. It's amazing. See, like people should be like, I want to be him when I grow up. And all he's doing is he's being responsible. Not responsible for what they did. He was being responsible for how he responded to it. No matter what you do, even Jesus said, it has no effect on who I am. Now, the good news, this doesn't mean that you go, so when I leave here, I'm supposed to be practicing this, and so I might as well just expect abuses left and right, and my job is to just be okay with it. That's not what I'm saying. And that's where the Christians, fundamental Christians, have something really cool and something right, which is they're trying to tell you. Jesus actually played this certain role of being abused having done no wrong, and yet neutralizing it and saying, since I'm one with all of you, I've also done it for you, so your karma's not here anymore. And we're going, well, thank you for sharing, Jesus. But, we believe that we still have some debts to pay. And all Jesus can do is go, and so it is. What a bizarre way to live. And, Jesus is, of course, scratching it. There's another way. We don't want to know what that is. We want to go the long way around. Old traditional religions from ancient times, they believed we were flawed and that enough time served in the prison earth that we would pay our debts. It's Old Testament. It's all over the place. East, West. Pay your debts, and that's how you become clear. But Buddha's going, yeah, but if you learn to sit still in your consciousness, centeredness, as one of you asked, if you can learn more often to sit in your center. Now, what is your center? Who I really am. Well, how do I find that? Here's the easiest way. God, I don't know, but show me. You can call on God. You can cheat. You can have somebody giving you the answers to the test. I don't know who I am, but you do, so show me. Boom. And God can say, here and now, lock you in. Oh, sweet. And so Buddha's message there is, if you can stay in your center and watch the circus go around and around, traumas, karma, watch them, they won't come back. When each one is watched, observed neutrally, without investment, without belief in it, without inflating it with power, there it goes, there it goes, there it goes. When I was 2, when I was 18, oh my God, this is great, my ex. Ah! Okay, I have to come back around to that one. And then you go to the next and go to the next. And every so often there'll be a surprise because the ego will say, you're not expecting this one, huh? You don't even remember this one. So you go ahead and just view those, challenging a test you failed in 3rd grade. Those things are small potatoes, the ego's saying. Just wait. Just when you're in the middle of, I'm doing so well, boom, something frightening that creates a reaction. When it creates a reaction, now you've got not only evidence of where you're still holding some stuff, but now that thing gets to be taken out, embellished, magnified, because you demonstrated fear of it. So now it gets to be made into a horrible monster, greater than even it was when you first saw it a minute ago. Now it becomes, oh my God, and that thing I'll never get past. That too, let me watch from my center, who I really am. I am not doing this alone. I have God with me. If God's with me, what could be against me? What's more powerful than the love of the Divine Mother? Nothing. Good. So let's look at it with her love. Be with me, Mother. How would you have me see this? It has no power, no effect. Gone. The next one, the next one. And that's where the discipline of the mind has to come in. As Jesus says in A Course in Miracles, you are far too lenient of mind wandering. You just do anything the ego does, says. Boo, okay, just constant. Wait, why don't you step up and say, who said? You're not really the great dad, the great mom, the great sibling, the great counselor, the great healer. Some of you come to me for counseling and you say, and I don't blame you, I get it. You'll say, I'm a coach, but I've had, 5 marriages in 2 years. How can I be? Stop. One has little to do with the other. Do you love what you do? Yes. Are you good at it? Yes. Do your clients say you're effective? Yes. Then shut up. Don't let that ego voice tell you anything otherwise. You're allowed to go in your closet, metaphorically, and say, yes, I love being a mom. Yes, I'm a good mom. Yes, people say I'm a good mom, but I still have doubts. You're allowed to have them. But don't bleed them out into the world where the ego is going to beat you up with them. Go into your closet, meditation, and say, God, I am good at what I do, et cetera, all the positives, but sometimes, just between us, I doubt. Am I really a great musician? Am I really a great teacher? Am I really a great counselor? Just say it. It's okay. Because you're being honest and you're in a safe container where this will not get used against you in a court of law. Because you're saying, can I talk? And God says, yeah. Container comes in, cone of silence, if you remember, get smart. Cone of silence drops down, surrounds us, and this is now between God and I. And the ego's, but it can't hear because you're in a container that loves you. And in the love, none of it's true. God's not having to fight the opinions of the ego. None of those are true. So We have to go from experiences, instead of projecting where our experiences are the outcome of our doubts, we're not projecting now. We're extending. So what happens is, I'm on earth and I projected myself down here. Watch this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine, not imagine being gone from God, and now I'm going to imagine, what if I'm in the hands, the container, the heart of the Divine Mother? And then I'm extending my beliefs that she's here and that she's holding me. She actually reaches energetically down from the higher dimensions, down right where you are in this 3D world, and wraps and envelops you in her love and includes you. So now I'm being extended into heaven. I projected from heaven into hell, so to speak, and now I'm reversing it. But I don't reverse by wishing I were somewhere else. Every time you wish you had a different partner, wish you had a different job, every time you wish you were looking like this, wish you looked like that, wish you didn't look like this and didn't look like that, every time you're creating energy, because you're a divine, you're God, you are a creator. Every time you wish, make believe or whatever else it is, you are taking an energy cord and you're throwing it out towards the thing you wish you were. I wish I looked like them. I wish I didn't look like that. I wish I didn't look like that. I wish I had this job, not that. All of those become cords. Try to imagine the number of cords you have for every time you said, I wish, I hope, I don't like. What's the number? 10? No. What's the number? 1,000? Today, yeah, maybe. Just today alone. The number is overwhelming, which is why we don't want to know we're doing it. So we say things like, oh, that person takes my power away. You mean they took the hook when you threw it out and threw the line in the ocean of dysfunctional people. I'm sorry that they took and bit on that hook. Why'd you throw it in there? Now, I'm not trying to say hurtful to you, but I'm saying, look, stop. These cords, where did they come from? Those people took my power. How? If you didn't throw them a line that had your power in it. So we do this, we project. I'm not saying you literally project hooking up with somebody that's just particularly horrible. All you have to do is say, I don't know if I'm as good as I think I am, and it throws out a line, and then certain types of people will grab the line. How did I end up with them in my life? Well, you might not have mail-ordered them in the mail-order company of consciousness, but you did order them up when you said, I don't know who I am. And you throw out that line. This is my not owning who I am. This is me not owning my talent. And you throw it out there, and now you have people that reject you. Why do people reject me so often? Because those are the lines you're throwing out. Snip, 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 snip. You need the universal mother gardener. Boom, 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 just, get those big shears, not little fine scissors. Nothing surgical about it. Just let them all be cut away. I retire everybody from being anything I thought you needed to be. Anybody that mirrors to me that I'm unlovable, thank you for that, not needed anymore, bless you, peace, gone. Anybody that shows me low self-worth, anybody that shows, whatever it happens to be, retire all of them. Instead of going and reporting back when you get to the other side, how did it go? Well, I'm going to evaluate how I did on earth by the number of cords that I have hanging out of my body. Imagine all these cords, just like you show up in heaven, how you doing? Quite a burden. Yeah, these are all the cords just from this lifetime. What are you going to do with them? Well, if you show up to the gates of heaven with all these dysfunctional, codependent cords, you don't go to heaven. You're too heavy laden with all these cords. So they just pull the drop, the little lever, and boom, the floor pops open, and you end up in hell, which is earth with the people you have cords with. Yes, that worked out well, didn't it? I don't know how I kept up with that. You show up, and they say, how are you doing? And you smile. And you know what they call you having no cords? They call those holy relationships. I have no weirdness with anybody. They don't need to be anything. They don't need to prove anything. They are what they are. I'm free. I love all of them. Do you love the ones that weren't so nice? Well, of course, because they were mirroring those days when that's what I was learning. And it doesn't matter to me if they're nice to me, because I am that I am. I am in the presence of God. I'm fully loved. Jesus didn't get crucified and look down at everybody and say, after all I've done for you people. But moms and dads get on the cross all the time, as do husbands and wives and so on, and children to their parents, for that matter, playing roles. It's time. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. Thank you. The Ho'oponopono prayer, in any order of those 4 lines in that prayer. It means I'm retiring everybody from the roles. What was I thinking? That's so silly. I mean, people on movies, look how many comedians and make fun of. Yeah, hi there, everybody. Good to be here in Los Angeles. Yeah, I'm back, and audience, And then they go, yeah, I don't know how you handle, but yesterday was Valentine's Day, and my partner and I were not doing well because I forgot to buy candies. Listen, if my not buying you candies is a deal breaker, let's just call it now. You see what I'm like? Seriously, let's just call it now. That's what you should do when you meet. Listen, here's what I'm like. What do you like? Oh, does that work? You see? Not, and I promise to bring you candies it's weird. It's also dysfunctional, mafia-like. These bizarre deals, and then you get knocked off if you don't do it right. Anyway, but God is the opposite. God is an extension of love. So there's projections. Projections is separation. I'm having a bad day because you didn't get me such and such. That's called a projection. What it means is I'm unsettled inside, and I'm going to blame you for it today. The boss didn't give me a raise. The weather isn't what I thought it was going to be when I moved to this place. Whatever the story is, they're projections because you're unhappy, unsettled, or amnesic. You forgot who you are. And they're all playing it out. I moved to the Pacific Northwest once when I was like 24. And I thought, I'm moving out of Southern California. Now, I probably didn't actually do this, but I can tell you that I imagined doing it. That when I get on that freeway and I'm driving away from Los Angeles, I imagine pulling over and just flipping off Southern California. Not really, but still, goodbye. You know why? Your smog, your overpopulation, all of the heat. Goodbye. And I gave it an Italian wave. Goodbye, Southern California. Because I'm going to, the Pacific Northwest. I've seen the posters. This is what I thought. I've seen the posters. Everywhere you go in the Northwest, there's moss and streams, clearly greenery. And I couldn't wait, because it's been since Lemuria that I want to see ferns. Ferns. I am going to the Northwest, man. I got in a car and drove, I got there and I'm like, what? It was 100 degrees in Southern California. I was like, goodbye. I got to where I went and it was 4 degrees hotter. The trees were clear cut. There were bald mountains. Bald mountains. It was hot. It was bald mountains. I saw no ferns. I saw nothing good. I had to, and energetically, and I know it's hard to hear these things, I had to stop. And by coincidence, I had to go back to Southern California. It worked out. I was there for months or however long, and then it all fell apart. I went back to Southern California, tail between my legs in a way. Humility, because I didn't learn. I blamed something outside. And not just blamed the Southern place. I also credited, it's called transference. Can't wait till the Pacific Northwest becomes my dream come true. Even that is transference. It's a form of projection. Even people you think you like, when you like them but don't own your own value, it's transference. So this one let me down in this way, this one let me down in that way. That's called being in hell. That is the dark night of the soul. So I go back to Southern California, and I had to humility and all these things, and I had to just deal with that. Then Once that was more integrated, I didn't project myself to the Northwest. I moved. Still with some lessons, but I moved. And I met better people, healthier people, like better friends, more faithful friends. A couple here and there, taught and did some spiritual work. But I could only really do so much spiritual work at the time because it was a little bit of a conservative place. So it was really weird to teach and not be myself. I had to kind of behave certain ways that were accepted, teach certain things that were acceptable. So I did that for a little while, a year, I don't know what it was, a couple years. And then, because you do your good work and you endure, seek, you'll find. When you find, you'll become disturbed. That was my move to that place. And then you find bliss. So when I went back to that place and worked through it, lived through it, I moved further north, all the way up north, all the way as far north as you could practically be and still be in America, North America, the United States. So I get up there and you know what? One of the things I saw, because I'd never been there, one of the things I saw on my drive with the, the moving truck is the sides of the roads. I'm like, oh, waterfalls on the side of the road. I mean, they're actually right there. You don't have to go hiking for them. They're right there. I'm like, oh, and it's green. And I found what would have been as close to blissful as possible for me to have found and lived in. But this is the opposite of projection. It seems unfair. When you want to turn your life around, you have to earn it. By earn it. Spiritually, no, you're a child of God. But while on earth, because we believe in the karmic effects of falling, we now have a certain process to go through, and it is this. You will go through experiences, but instead of blaming what doesn't go well and crediting other people for what does go well, you integrate. Part 2, step 2 is I integrate. That's when you're becoming, you're integrating, and you're learning, and you're absorbing, and it's like, wow. And I still, when I moved there, went through the dark night of the soul, because wherever you go, you are there. You still have you to deal with, your stuff, your lessons. But I went to the Pacific Northwest and had a couple of children. At that time, I already had them, brought them there when it was the perfect place to raise kids at that time. It was beautiful, it was green, it was family-oriented and all that. I even got a minivan. I mean, I still wasn't I was gone, still touring, and, I didn't just totally settle into that, but I got a minivan. It was a nice, cool minivan, though. Oh, it was decked out, sweet, beautiful, comfortable. So I got a minivan, and did that kind of life for a little while. It was really cool. Absolutely love it. Eventually got a retreat center, did work there for years. Beautiful. And then came the message, it's time that I'm going somewhere else, and this is where I am. But it was great. But listen, if I would have kept blaming and projecting, you can't actually heighten your life, your consciousness, while you're still thinking others have any power over it. You have to become the change you want to see in the world. You love praying to God? Okay, well, what's God? Oh, love, joy, bliss. How do you become that? Well, I just pray, God, give me bliss. No, it's not a pill giver. It's show me how to do this. Oh, well, this is how you do it. You will have experiences. You will integrate what you can learn from that experience, the good and the not so good. What did you gain from it? Now, when you've done that, when you chose to integrate, you're already becoming a different person. Do you see what I'm saying by that? It's not your DNA. It's not your ancestral stuff. You become different because of the way you changed your experience. It's not going to become, if only I had a family that gave me different genetics. It's you changing. When it comes to ancestral and all that, there's a nice secret to that. How do you change your origins, your ancestral material? Believe it or not, you can sit and pray, and there's process, techniques that have some effect. You can do some work with your ancestors. That's one way, which is still a little bit of a projection, because you're projecting back to them and fixing some things. Now wait, what if you just keep working on you? Do you not understand that DNA has intelligence, as all cells do? And if it does have an intelligence, do you not realize that if you change, that's going to upload to family past as well as download to family future? You can do this. You can make these changes because it's in your consciousness. You can also be heavy laden with, oh no, this in my family, they're like this and there's no escaping it. And all I can do is hope for a different kind of family in another lifetime. That very hope is a projection, which means you're going to have more of that. Cut the ties. You can't cut the ties with anger nor denial. The ties get cut. You're given these golden, this scissors, these golden shears or scissors to cut these when your consciousness has changed. This is no longer me. And this is, oh, look at that. That's a weird one. Oh, no, that's gone. It's a consciousness change. It's not an exercise in, I've got to get rid of all this. It's not a desperation. That's just more of the same, past stuff. So I go from I do, I feel, I think, I believe, moving up the chakras, to I am. Look at your day-to-day life. How much doing is there? Whether it's work, day-to-day, or reactive with people around you. I do my best to fend off my ex. I do my best to gain the respect of my children. Doing. Nice job. It's okay. And then I feel. You feel what? I feel hurt. I feel annoyed. I feel ignored, whatever it happens to be. I feel overlooked. I feel unloved. Okay. Is that God yet? No. Moving up to I think. Well, I think I'm okay. I used to feel this, but now I think I'm okay. Look at now you moved into the head, which is located here energetically. Okay? Now I've moved into my solar plexus center. I think I'm okay. Yeah. I used to be bothered by this, but I figured it out, and now I'm more prosperous, and I think I've got it. See? And then this one. Uh-oh. I thought that I thought good thoughts. Now I'm starting to see that I never corrected my beliefs about myself. I corrected my thoughts, my emotions, and my external world, and it didn't work. Solomon, vanity, meaning everything you try to fix in this world, it's not going to work, and it leads to depression. Because I did. I worked on my emotion. I looked at all this. I got all this stuff, and I didn't realize that my belief systems are mainly what sabotages my experience. See the pointing I'm doing, right? My belief systems affect my experience. I can learn from my experiences, but they can't fix my life. I have to change my beliefs. Is that making sense? Then what's the point of these experiences? Because you'll be able to see where your beliefs are off. They're signposts. That's good. But don't make them more than they are. They're just images. And they reflect my beliefs and my misbeliefs. And what do I want to do about it? I want to do this. I want to say, I have beliefs. They're come and going. They might be right. I don't know. Apparently, I don't know because I've been here thousands of lifetimes and I haven't gotten it yet. So there's good evidence that I might not be my own best guide. So what I'm going to do is open my heart to God. I don't know, but you do. Show me who I really am. Show me how to treat this situation. Show me how to respond to this. Show me how to do, how to feel, how to think, how to believe. You show me that beautiful, divine feminine prayer with the arms out like this, extending from the heart saying, I don't know, help me. It doesn't sound very empowering to egotists, by the way. No offense if you're an egotist. But it doesn't seem very, how empowering to people that are like, who needs God? I'm all I need. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. When you do this, that humility, the saying is the last shall be first and the first shall be last. You raise yourself up so much, you're going to collapse. But when you say, I don't know, you are opening up to the all that knows all. And then it can download, whether it's a musician, what do I write? What verse in this song should I write? A person doing a talk, parenting, anything you do, it becomes far more illuminated. I still have day-to-day things I learn from, fine. Integrate what you learned, you integrate in your heart. You don't do it, you don't feel it, you don't think it, you integrate it in your beliefs. I see that my experiences have shown a lot of low self-worth, and I see my core beliefs about low self-worth. Let me work on that. When I change that, my experiences will change because they'll be reflecting a different person. You see? Be careful not to say, and if I do this enough, I'll finally earn God's respect. No, you should be doing this with God as your guide. So the Divine Mother is right there, and to do all things from a place of extension rather than projection. Even the concept of intimacy, conversation. I'm telling you something. You're here and I'm telling you something. Hey, this is, and you should do that, and you really need, I'm preaching at you. That's separation, slamming someone. And it's the same thing with intimacy. People actually think, have you seen that movie? There's a hot love scene. And it's just like, two cavemen banging rocks together. Wow, that was hot. It's supposed to look like this. Wait. It's supposed to look like this, physically and energetic. It doesn't mean you can't be passionate, but you never separate and do someone like they say it, what you're doing, I'd like to do that person. Oh, really? Imagine we bring out a new consciousness to the world and somebody says, oh man, I'd like to do them. Really? Ooh. See? Because it's not cool as it sounds, but it's the programming of people that are separate that think that's what you do. Instead, it's this dance. We can be passionate. It's like if you're familiar with Tai Chi. There's a very soft Tai Chi, but then there's another one that has these sharp movements like that. I call them sharp, but they're very, they've got this, so it's like almost like a depiction of passion. So you can do Tai Chi very slowly, but you can do a second style. Instead of one style of Tai Chi, you do another where the movements all snap at the end of, and it's saying something. It's energetically doing something specific that I can't get into right now. But it's the same with lovemaking. You can be passionate, but I do not disconnect from you and do you. We share. It's an extension. Everything needs to be an extension. Mommy, look at the art I did at school. Oh, that's nice. That's separation. Let me see. Ooh, that's beautiful. What's that? And what made you do that? You see, connecting. Patience, connecting, joining. It can be done. And it is our destiny to come back to living that way. It's our destiny. Not, I hope we can. Not if I convert people. No, none of that. This is our destiny. We just get to decide how long it's going to take before we get there. But as one person said, if not us, then who? If not now, then when? Let's go. Let's do it. Commit. I know that life still throws barbs at us at times. But it is our destiny to be loved, so why not do it now? Why wait? Just do your best, man. Do your best to start each day. I don't want to start today like yesterday where I was afraid. I don't want to start today with remembering a bad dream I had. I don't want to start today with worrying about the bills I got to pay. I know that I've got them to pay, but help me to center into your peace first, and then let's do the world. Because it'll change from a doing experience to a love-sharing experience. Even bills, even debts. Everything in this world needs blessed to become holy again. Let go of the body, drop in, just organically move. Don't shift from talk to meditate, just glide.
Thought of you brings me home. Thought of you brings me to my knees.
Hear this to God. Hear it as a song to yourself and to everyone else. you're sitting close enough to someone. And if not, the person behind you can put their hand on your shoulder. No separation, no projection. Don't hear the song alone.
Thought of you brings so much joy. The thought of you brings me home. The thought of you brings me to my knees, knowing there's so much more. Knowing there's so much more. How may I serve you more? How may I love you more? How may I be closer to you?
Extend heartfelt thanks for the experience, for your brothers and sisters, the mother that shines her light in each of us to each other. And slowly begin reintegrating into your body. And so it is. Nice, huh? Yummy. Thank you so much. As you're feeling into this, remember, integrate what you heard today. I'm sorry that it might seem unfair that projecting here seemed a lot easier than getting home. I'm sorry that it seems like you have to prove now that you're awake, but you do. But you're not proving it to God. God already knows. What you have to do is prove it to yourself, because we so easily get distracted back into old behaviors. So to say I'm awake, I'm spiritual, I love, I forgive is one thing. Now, when we're moving our way back home, you can't just say it, you can't just do it, you have to become it. I am more loving, more forgiving. Really? How was your day? Oh, well, there was that, and then there was, see, it has to become more authentic. It might seem unfair because you have to live this stuff, but it makes sense, doesn't it? To become it, to live this, and then become it, and then I am it. I'm sorry, but that's the progression. Forgetting who we were, the ego took care of it all. Once we separated and created the ego, it took care of it all. I'll cover your tracks and you just live a messed up life. Getting back home, you can't just say you want it. You have to live it, become it. What did you hear or learn today that made the most sense for you? Because I know you're already integrating it.
In the
All of it?
metaphor of casting out thoughts, if it's on your plate, you ordered it.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's on your plate, you probably ordered it, you know. Anyone else? What did you learn? Yeah.
No, but you do.
I don't know, but you do. That's a fact. Even if I think I know, even if I know tidbits, what's wrong with me surrendering to even more? People are so ego-based, they think it's somehow wrong or lesser of you to call upon guidance. You see, I mean, it's amazing. It's just more arrogance of the ego. Yes, dear? Nice and loud? Events, Holocaust or otherwise, events, to find that in you. Yes. Yes. It's very clear that no matter what people do to each other, if we know who we are, it wouldn't have happened. And I don't just mean the people that it happened to, I mean all of us. If we knew who we were, we would never even allow someone to do that to someone else. Saying no can come from inspiration. And it's beautiful. Like Krishna says in the Gita. When you're doing what you know to be love, to be right, you've already won. Whether you win a battle or not on the outside, it won't matter because your consciousness is already gained. It's already higher because you did what you knew was the most loving and right thing in the moment. But even that gets twisted by people. Yes? I do, I feel, I think, I believe, I am. Yeah, that's the you know, the row of it. Yes.
Going from projection to extension and sharing.
From projection to extension and sharing. Projecting, and there's a funny way to remember this. I came up with this, I don't know, a long time ago, and people got a kick out of it, but spiritual growth is to go in and up. Projection and being hateful, hurtful people is being down and out. See that, right? How you feeling? Kind of down and out. Oh, I'm a human and I don't know, you know, I've fallen and I can't get up. Which is the human condition. Go in and up, not down and out. And that has to do everything. That's motivating people. It has to do with intimate interaction. In and up, bring this all to a higher level. Down and out, that's the shallow kind of hooking up kind of thing. And addictions, they're down and out. And the outcome is generally not good. In and up is, I don't need anything on the outside. This is about an experience between God and I. You know, God and myself. It's like this. I don't have to do anything to get there. But that's the difference. Yeah. Which way did he go? We're going to do our collection and our closing prayer. While the ushers are getting this together, please be as generous as you can be. Be as generous as you can be. Your donations go in the bags for the most part, but the donations for the baskets are any extra you can give that we use for people of lesser means or sometimes for special projects. That's what goes in the baskets. Folks online, there's a link there that you can click on that would take you to a place where you can donate as well. And and there's times over the years where we've had, video glitches, audio glitches, things online where the button doesn't work for them to donate. Those things are a bummer, you lose internet. But over the years, we've also got donations from you that helped us raise the bar on our internet speed or created better platforms or hiring our best AV people that we've had. So all of your contributions help improve all of that. And it makes those challenging things kind of a distant memory. Not to say that they still can't happen, because it can. Those companies are still companies, and they can have glitches. Facebook, YouTube, whatever we're using, But I'm grateful that we've made it past a lot of that. So, and that's partly thanks to your donations. Take your love offering, hold that to your heart. with consciousness, even if you put nothing in the basket, put thoughts of abundance for all in there. Together, please. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Yes. Let's please extend an extra round of applause for our guest musician, Ananda Das. Absolutely, absolutely lovable, man. All right. Please stand for our closing prayer. In the foyer, our guest musician, Ananda Das, will have a table with some of his products. Please check those out. But also, there's probably a basket, but if not, place it in what looks like his hands. A donation if you feel called to do that, because we love extending extra donations to our musicians who have dedicated their life for what they do, towards what they do, and they're on the road and all that. We want them to feel loved and supported. Okay? Feel good? Nice. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your dedication and your patience. We've gone a few minutes over, so we appreciate your extra time. Soaking in this feeling of gratitude and love we feel for one another. Still feeling and hearing the vibes of the music, that gorgeous voice and the tones of the guitar. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are, and so it is. Peace be with you all. Thank you.